New York City, February 26, 1931, 8:20 a.m. A man in a dark overcoat walks across the frozen grass of Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx. His name is never recorded. He works for an oil company. The temperature is 28 degrees Fahrenheit. He is walking toward the cemetery and golf course when he sees something near the embankment. A body, female, face down. She wears a black velvet dress with lace trim, one white kid glove on her left hand. The other glove lies 3 feet away in the dirt. A black straw hat sits 15 feet to the north. One black suede pump with a rhinestone buckle rests near a tree root. Her mink coat is missing. Her platinum watch is missing. Her 2-carat diamond ring is missing. Around her neck, a piece of clothesline rope. Knotted tight. Marks on her head suggest blunt force trauma. Her body temperature indicates death occurred approximately 7 hours earlier. The Bronx Police Department arrives at 8:47 a.m. Fingerprints identify her as Benita Franklin Bischoff, age 40, also known as Vivian Gordon, resident of 156 East 37th Street, Manhattan, apartment 3B. The toxicology report later confirms she consumed sauerkraut, raisins, egg whites, onions, and celery between midnight and 1 a.m. Blood alcohol content 0.2%. Time of death approximately 1:30 a.m. Cause of death strangulation. Secondary injuries. Blunt force head trauma, evidence of dragging. Her apartment building elevator operator provides the last confirmed sighting. 11 p.m. the previous evening. Gordon left wearing an ankle-length mink coat, the platinum watch, the diamond ring. She entered a Cadillac, black license plate unknown. Driver unknown. By 10 a.m. the murder reaches the desk of Charles McLaughlin, Bronx County District Attorney. By noon it reaches Albany. Governor Franklin Delano Roosevelt sends a telegram demanding the full police report. He suspects connection to ongoing investigations into police corruption. New York City, 1930. Population, $6.9 million. The city operates under a political machine. Tammany Hall, Democratic Party in power for over a century. It controls appointments. It controls contracts. It controls votes. It controls courts. The system functions through patronage. Ward bosses provide jobs, housing assistance, coal in winter, bail money. In exchange, residents vote Democratic. Loyalty is rewarded. Disloyalty is punished. By 1930, Tammany Hall has integrated with organized crime. The New York mob controls key Democratic positions. Money flows upward. Bribes are standard. Appointments are purchased. Contracts are rigged. Justice is negotiable. The magistrate court system processes 100,000 cases annually. 50 magistrate judges. No jury trials. Judges appointed by the mayor. Mayor appointed by Tammany Hall. Evidence standards are minimal. Appeal options are limited. In 1930, complaints about the courts reach Governor Roosevelt. Women arrested for prostitution. Men arrested for patronizing prostitutes. Many claim innocence. Many claim they were framed. Many pay bail, plead guilty, disappear. Roosevelt appoints Samuel Seabury as special investigator. August 1930. Seabury, age 57, former New York Supreme Court judge, former Court of Appeals judge, anti-Tammany Democrat, reputation for integrity, no connections to political machines. His mandate: investigate corruption in the magistrate courts. The investigation begins quietly. Seabury subpoenas court records. He examines arrest patterns. He interviews convicted women. He finds patterns. Vice squad arrests follow identical sequences. Officer claims to witness exchange of money. Officer arrests woman. Magistrate judge sentences woman. Woman sent to Bedford Reformatory. 2 years standard sentence. But something is wrong with the numbers. In 1930, vice squad officers arrest over 2,000 women for prostitution in Manhattan alone. Many arrests occur in the same buildings. Same officers make multiple arrests per week. Same judges process the cases. Testimony is nearly identical across hundreds of cases. Detective Andrew J. McLaughlin. 1 in 200 vice arrests in 10 years. Annual salary $3,000. Bank deposits over 2 years $3,800. Source of additional income never explained. The frame-up operation has a name among police: the Badger Game. Step 1. A stool pigeon identifies a target, usually a woman alone, sometimes a man with money. Step 2. The stool pigeon arranges a meeting, a hotel room. An apartment. The stool pigeon plants money in the room. Bills placed visibly on a dresser in a purse under a pillow. Step 3. Vice squad officers burst through the door. They claim to be investigating the stool pigeon. They discover the money. They arrest the woman for prostitution. Step 4. The woman is taken to night court. The magistrate judge sets bail at $1,000 to $2,000. Bondsmen charge 10 to 20%. Defense attorneys charge $500 to $1,000. Most attorneys work with the police. Step 5. The woman pleads guilty or is convicted. If she protests innocence, the sentence is harsher. If she provides information about herself, the sentence is harsher. The message is clear: shut up and pay. Step 6. Money is distributed. Officers receive payment. Bondsmen receive payment. Attorneys receive payment. Judges receive payment. Stool pigeons receive payment. Tammany Hall receives payment. The network operates 24 hours a day. Night court runs from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Harlem contains the highest concentration of targets: speakeasies, call flats, gambling dens, secret apartments for liquor and prostitution. Men who visit these locations are vulnerable. Married men, wealthy men. Men with reputations. The fear of publicity is enough. Most pay immediately. Some pay multiple times. Women arrested face worse consequences. Conviction for prostitution means loss of child custody, loss of employment, loss of housing, social death. By early 1931, Seabury's investigation has interviewed over 1,000 witnesses. Patterns are undeniable. The magistrate court system is a criminal enterprise. But Seabury needs proof. He needs someone willing to testify. January 1931. Vivian Gordon contacts the Seabury Commission. She has information. She claims she was framed in 1923. She claims Officer Andrew McLaughlin and her ex-husband John Bischoff conspired. She claims the arrest was retaliation for her divorce. She claims she lost custody of her daughter because of the conviction. She is willing to testify. February 20th, 1931. Gordon appears at 80 Center Street. Seabury's deputy, Irving Ben Cooper, interviews her. She describes the 1923 arrest in detail. McLaughlin arrested her at the Langwell Hotel. Her lover, Al Marks, was with her. Marks was a lingerie salesman, ex-convict. The arrest was staged. The evidence was fabricated. Gordon promises to find corroborating evidence. She leaves the office promising to return. 5 days later, her body is found in Van Cortlandt Park. New York City newspapers receive word of the murder by noon on February 26, 1931. The New York Times headline: Woman vice case witness found strangled in park. Daily News dispatches photographers to Van Cortlandt Park. They photograph the crime scene: the rope, the glove, the shoe, the location of the body. Images reach print by evening edition. Herald Tribune columnist Haywood Brown writes 800 words comparing Gordon's murder to the 1912 killing of Herman Rosenthal. Rosenthal was a gambler who threatened to expose police corruption. He was shot on West 43rd Street outside the Hotel Metropole. 4 gunmen. Professional hit. Police Lieutenant Charles Becker was convicted of ordering the murder. Executed 1915, Brown's column suggests Gordon's death follows the same pattern. A witness threatens to expose corruption. A witness is eliminated. Roosevelt telexes Seabury in New York City. He requests immediate coordination between the murder investigation and the magistrate court investigation. He suspects the cases are connected. Seabury declines to officially involve himself in the murder case. He states his mandate covers court corruption only, but he privately begins investigating Gordon's 1923 arrest. The Bronx Police Department assigns 300 officers to the Gordon case. Detective squads from Manhattan and Queens are transferred temporarily. A grand jury convenes February 27th. Investigators search Gordon's apartment. They find diaries, 12 volumes, handwritten names, dates, amounts of money. Over 300 names listed. Prominent businessmen, gangsters, politicians, magistrate judges, police officers, bail bondsmen, lawyers, madams. Names include Henry Geralaman, philanthropist; John Hoagland, baking powder magnate; Polly Adler, madam; Arnold Rothstein, gambler, murdered 1928; Jack Legs Diamond, bootlegger; Harry Stein, racketeer; John Radiloff, attorney; Sam Cohen, also known as Chowderhead Cohen, convicted felon. The diaries describe transactions. Gordon loaned money to criminals. She purchased properties in Queens. She ran blackmail operations. Her method: seduce wealthy married men, threaten exposure, demand payment. The diaries also describe her fear. Multiple entries mention John Radeloff, the only man I fear. Radeloff was her attorney, former boyfriend. Gordon owed him money. He owed her money. The relationship was volatile. Police interview Radeloff on February 27th. He claims he last saw Gordon on February 20th. He claims he knows nothing about her death. He provides an alibi, home with family. Witnesses confirm. Police hold Radeloff on $100,000 bail. Suspicion of involvement. No formal charges. Police interview Sam Cohen on February 28th. He claims he had not seen Gordon in weeks. He provides an alibi, attending a boxing match at Madison Square Garden. Witnesses confirm. Police hold Cohen on $100,000 bail. Suspicion of involvement. No formal charges. March 1, 1931. Seabury receives 3 death threats, handwritten on telegram forms. Signed Dr. X message. Gordon squealed. Gordon is dead. You squeal. You die. Seabury turns the threats over to NYPD. The threats are never traced. Dr. X is never identified. March 3, 1931. Roosevelt announces expansion of the Seabury investigation. New mandate: investigate the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Thomas C. Crane, age 69, District Attorney since 1929. Allegations of ignoring corruption. Allegations of protecting Tammany Hall allies. Benita Bischoff, age 16, daughter of Vivian Gordon, is found dead in her bedroom. Gas asphyxiation, suicide. A note is found: I cannot face the world. Benita had been living with her father, John Bischoff, since 1923. After Gordon's conviction for prostitution, custody was transferred. Benita was 8 years old. Gordon appealed custody 3 times. Each appeal denied. Benita never saw her mother again. The daughter's suicide ignites public outrage. Religious leaders issue statements. Rabbi Stephen S. Wise calls for immediate reform. Reverend John Haynes Holmes demands Mayor James J. Walker resign. 2 Catholic bishops condemn the wave of lawlessness. New York Times editorial, March 5th. This city is on trial. Walker responds from City Hall: I will not resign. Corruption allegations are exaggerated. The police are conducting a thorough investigation. Special hearing. Magistrate H. Stanley Renault testifies. Renault presided over Vivian Gordon's 1923 case. He sentenced her to 2 years at Bedford Reformatory. First offense: no prior convictions. Seabury's deputy questions Renault about sentencing guidelines. First offenders typically receive probation or fines. 2-year sentences are reserved for repeat offenders or aggravated circumstances. Renault becomes flushed. He claims he does not remember Gordon specifically. He claims he processed hundreds of cases. He claims Bedford Reformatory is a wonderful school. Seabury presents a data table. 847 women sentenced by Renault over 3 years. Women who protested innocence received harsher sentences. Women who refused to answer personal questions received harsher sentences. Women who hired attorneys received lighter sentences. The pattern is clear. Punishment is based on compliance, not guilt. Renault admits the records support this pattern. He admits justice was not served in his court. He offers no explanation. The New York State Appellate Division orders Renault removed from the bench. March 11, 1931. Officer Andrew McLaughlin testifies before the Seabury Commission. McLaughlin claims he made 200 vice arrests in 10 years. He worked alone most of the time. He patrolled Broadway between 34th Street and 59th Street. He arrested women in hotels, apartments, speakeasies. Seabury presents bank records. McLaughlin deposited $35 in $800 over 2 years. Annual salary $3,000. Total expected earnings over 2 years, $6,000. Unexplained deposits, $29,800. Seabury: where did this money come from? McLaughlin invokes the Fifth Amendment. He refuses to answer. Seabury: did you receive payments for making arrests? McLaughlin invokes the Fifth Amendment. Seabury: did you frame Vivian Gordon in 1923? McLaughlin invokes the Fifth Amendment. NYPD releases McLaughlin from duty. March 14, 1931. No criminal charges filed. Pension intact. March 18, 1931. The City Affairs Committee, a civic reform group, demands Mayor Walker's removal. Walker is vacationing in Palm Springs, California. He issues a statement through his press secretary. I deny all allegations. I have no knowledge of corruption in the police department or the courts. The Seabury investigation is politically motivated. Public pressure intensifies. Daily demonstrations outside City Hall. Reformers distribute pamphlets. Newspapers run exposés daily. March 25, 1931. Chile Mapocha Acuna testifies before the Seabury Commission. Acuna is a stool pigeon. Former police informant. He describes the frame-up operation in detail. He was paid $25 per arrest. He identified targets. He arranged meetings in hotel rooms. He planted money. He signaled officers when targets arrived. Officers burst in. Arrests were made. Acuna names officers. Patrolman Sidney Tate. Patrolman James O'Connor. Detective Harry Levy. Over 30 Vice Squad officers participated. Acuna describes the Badger Game sequence exactly. His testimony corroborates everything Seabury suspected. Seabury asks, how many women were framed? Acuna, hundreds, maybe thousands. It went on for years. The Gordon murder investigation narrows. Detectives focus on Harry Stein. Stein, age 38, racketeer, bootlegger, extortionist, known associate of organized crime figures. Gordon had loaned him money in 1930. Stein needed funds for a bootlegging operation in Oslo, Norway. The deal failed. Stein refused to repay. Gordon threatened legal action. Detectives learned Stein disposed of Gordon's belongings on February 26th. The mink coat, the watch, the ring. Witnesses confirm. Harry Stein is indicted for the murder of Vivian Gordon. Samuel Greenhauer, a tailor and Stein associate, is also indicted as an accomplice. Both plead not guilty. Harry Schlitten walks into Bronx Police Headquarters. He requests to speak with homicide detectives. He has information about the Gordon murder. Schlitten is a professional chauffeur. Age 32, no criminal record. He claims he drove the murder car on the night of February 25th. Detectives question him for 6 hours. Schlitten provides details. He drove a Cadillac, black. He picked up Harry Stein and Samuel Greenhauer at 10:30 p.m. at a restaurant on East 149th Street in the Bronx. Stein told him they were picking up a woman in Manhattan. They drove to 156 East 37th Street. Vivian Gordon entered the car at approximately 11:00 p.m. She wore a mink coat. She appeared calm. They drove north. Gordon sat in the back seat between Stein and Greenhauer. Schlitten drove. They stopped at a restaurant on Jerome Avenue near 170th Street. They ate. Gordon consumed sauerkraut and drank whiskey. Around 12:45 a.m., they returned to the car. Stein directed Schlitten to drive to Van Cortlandt Park. Schlitten asked why. Stein said, just drive. Near the golf course entrance, Stein told Schlitten to stop. Schlitten stopped. He heard sounds from the back seat. Struggling. Gordon gasped. Schlitten turned. Greenhauer held Gordon's arms. Stein wrapped a rope around her neck. Gordon fought. Stein pulled the rope tighter. Gordon stopped moving. Stein and Greenhauer dragged Gordon's body out of the car. They removed her coat, watch, and ring. They rolled her down the embankment. They returned to the car. Stein said to Schlitten, you saw nothing. You say nothing. They drove to Manhattan. Stein and Greenhauer exited at 145th Street and 3rd Avenue. Schlitten drove home. He did not report what happened. He was afraid. But after 2 months, the fear of being implicated exceeded the fear of retaliation. He contacted police. He agreed to testify in exchange for immunity from prosecution. Bronx District Attorney Charles McLaughlin grants immunity. June 2, 1931. The trial begins June 18, 1931. Bronx County Courthouse. Judge Frederick Pryor presiding. Jury, 12 men. No women allowed on New York juries until 1937. Prosecutor Charles McLaughlin. Defense attorneys Samuel Leibowitz for Stein, Morris Siegel for Greenhauer. Leibowitz is one of New York's most famous defense attorneys. He has never lost a murder case. Opening statements take 2 hours. McLaughlin argues premeditated murder. Gordon threatened to expose Stein's financial crimes. Stein hired Greenhauer. They lured Gordon to the car. They killed her. Schlitten drove the car but did not participate in the killing. Leibowitz argues fabricated evidence. Schlitten is a liar seeking immunity. No physical evidence links Stein or Greenhauer to the crime. Gordon's coat, watch and ring were never recovered. No witnesses placed the defendants at the scene. The prosecution calls witnesses. A waiter from the Jerome Avenue restaurant identifies Gordon, Stein, and Greenhauer. He remembers serving them on the night of February 25th. Gordon ordered sauerkraut. Stein ordered steak. They appeared to be arguing. The toxicologist confirms Gordon consumed sauerkraut hours before death. Time of consumption, consistent with restaurant visit. Harry Schlitten testifies for 3 days. June 19, 2021. He repeats his confession. He provides additional details. He describes the car. He describes the route. He describes the sounds Gordon made when she was strangled. Under cross-examination, Leibowitz attacks. He points out inconsistencies in Schlitten's statements. Schlitten originally told police the murder occurred around 1 a.m. He now says 1:30 a.m. Schlitten originally said Gordon did not fight. He now says she fought. Leibowitz: you changed your story to fit the evidence, didn't you? Schlitten: I remembered more details over time. Leibowitz: or you were told what to say by the prosecutor. Schlitten: no. Leibowitz presents Schlitten's immunity agreement. He suggests Schlitten fabricated the entire story to avoid prosecution. The prosecution rests. June 22nd, the defense calls witnesses. Greenhauer's family testifies. His mother died on February 23, 1931. Jewish mourning tradition requires sitting Shiva Ta'an for 7 days. Greenhauer sat Shiva from February 24th to March 2nd. He did not leave the house. 10 witnesses confirm. If Greenhauer did not leave the house, he could not have been in the car. Stein's sister testifies. She and Stein went to a movie on the night of February 25th. They saw city lights. With Charlie Chaplin at the Lowe's Paradise, theater on the Grand Concourse in the Bronx. Showtime 9:30 p.m. They ate dinner afterward at a Chinese restaurant on 170th Street. They returned home around midnight. If Stein was at the movies and then at home, he could not have been in the car. The defense rests. June 25th. Closing arguments take 1 full day. June 26th. McLaughlin argues the alibis are fabricated. Family members lie to protect their own. Stein's sister is covering for her brother. Greenhauer's family is covering for him. Leibowitz argues the prosecution's entire case relies on one witness, a man who admittedly drove the murder car and received immunity for his testimony. No physical evidence, no corroboration. Schlitten is a liar. The jury deliberates. June 30th, 3 hours, verdict not guilty. Both defendants, the courtroom erupts. Spectators shout. Greenhauer's family weeps. Stein smiles. Leibowitz shakes hands with the jury. A representative from the grand jury that indicted Stein immediately approaches Judge Pryor. He presents a sworn statement. The grand jury members are shocked by the verdict. They believe justice was not served. Bronx District Attorney Charles McLaughlin tells reporters, "This is a gross miscarriage of justice." Mayor James J. Walker issues a statement from City Hall. The verdict proves there was no cover-up. The police conducted a thorough investigation. The jury heard the evidence. They delivered a verdict, but the public does not believe it. Newspapers declare the trial was rigged. Reformers claim witnesses were intimidated. The City Affairs Committee demands a federal investigation. July 2, 1931. Samuel Seabury issues a statement. He does not comment on the verdict. He comments on the pattern. Vivian Gordon was murdered because she threatened to expose corruption. The trial of her alleged killers was compromised. This is the natural result of a system where money buys immunity and fear silences truth. Seabury's magistrate court investigation continues. He subpoenas more records. He interviews more witnesses. He expands his focus. Roosevelt expands Seabury's mandate again. July 1931. Seabury is now authorized to investigate all departments of New York City government. This includes the mayor's office. August 1931. Seabury's team examines city contracts. They find patterns. Contracts are awarded to companies owned by Tammany Hall Associates. Bids are rigged. Payments are inflated. Money flows to officials. September 1931. Seabury's team examines police department finances. They find patterns. Officers deposit large sums beyond their salaries. Payments come from bail bondsmen, attorneys, speakeasy owners, gamblers. October 1931. Seabury's team examines the mayor's finances. Mayor James J. Walker earns $40,000 per year. His bank accounts show deposits exceeding $1 million over 6 years. Sources: stock market gifts, loans from businessmen seeking city contracts, cash payments from unknown sources. Walker claims the money is legitimate. He claims he earned it through investments. He claims he borrowed from friends. He refuses to provide documentation. December 1931. Roosevelt orders Walker to appear for public hearings. The hearings will examine Walker's conduct as mayor. Walker hires a defense team. He prepares his testimony. He claims he has nothing to hide. May 25, 1932. Seabury hearings into Mayor James J. Walker's administration begin. New York County Courthouse. Governor Franklin D. Roosevelt presiding. The hearings are public. Newspapers cover them daily. Radio stations broadcast testimony. Thousands gather outside the courthouse. Seabury acts as prosecutor. He questions Walker about specific financial transactions. Seabury presents bank records. Between 1926 and 1932, Walker received $26,000 beyond his mayoral salary. Sources include $246,000 from businessman J.A. Sisto. Sisto received a city contract for taxicab medallions. $263,000 from businessman Russell T. Sherwood. Sherwood brokered deals between city officials and private companies. Sherwood kept a secret account called a beneficent fund for the mayor. $220,000 in stock market accounts opened in D. Walker's name by businessmen seeking city influence. $297,000 in cash deposits with no documented source. Seabury: how do you explain these deposits? Walker: they were gifts from friends. Seabury: did these friends receive anything in return? Walker: no, they were acts of generosity. Seabury: you received $250,000 from a man who received a taxi medallion contract. That is coincidence? Walker: I had no involvement in the taxi medallion contracts. Seabury: you signed the contracts. Walker: I signed many contracts. The hearings continue for 3 months. May, June, July, August. Testimony reveals systematic corruption. Contracts are awarded based on bribes. Appointments are purchased. Police protection is sold. Courts are rigged. Public support for Walker collapses. Newspapers call for his resignation. The City Affairs. Committee organizes daily protests outside City Hall. Religious leaders denounce the administration from pulpits across the city. August 1932. Roosevelt prepares to deliver his ruling. Walker's removal seems inevitable. September 1, 1932. 3:47 p.m. Walker enters the office of the city clerk. He carries a handwritten letter. He hands it to the clerk. The letter: I hereby resign as mayor of the city of New York, effective immediately. Walker leaves City Hall. He does not make a public statement. He boards a ship for Europe the next day. He remains abroad for 2 years. Roosevelt's hearing is closed without a formal ruling. The resignation is treated as an admission of guilt. September 2, 1932, Samuel. Seabury issues a statement. This resignation is a victory for the people of New York. Corruption has been exposed. Those who abused public trust have been removed. But this is only the beginning. The systems that allowed this corruption must be reformed. Seabury recommends the following reforms to the New York State Legislature. Removal of 23 magistrate judges found guilty of misconduct. Dismissal of dozens of vice squad officers involved in frame-ups. New evidence standards for magistrate courts. Arrests require corroboration beyond officer testimony. Public oversight of judicial appointments. Mayors can no longer appoint judges without legislative approval. Independent police review boards with civilian membership. The New York State Legislature adopts these reforms over the next 12 months. January 1933 to January 1934. The magistrate court system is restructured. Judges face mandatory review hearings. Evidence standards are raised. Public defenders are assigned to indigent defendants. The NYPD vice squad is disbanded. Officers are reassigned or dismissed. New anti-corruption protocols are implemented. Tammany Hall's political power declines. In the 1933 mayoral election, Fiorello LaGuardia, a Republican reformer, defeats Tammany candidate John O'Brien. LaGuardia serves 3 terms as mayor, 1934-1945. During LaGuardia's first term, Tammany Hall local organizational membership drops 70%. Democratic Party influence in city government diminishes. The era of machine politics in New York begins to end. Vivian Gordon's murder is never officially solved. Harry Stein and Samuel Greenhauer are acquitted. No one else is charged. The case remains open. Theories persist. Theory 1. Stein and Greenhauer were guilty, but the trial was compromised. Witnesses were intimidated. Evidence was suppressed. The defense presented fabricated alibis. Theory 2. Gordon was killed by police officers to prevent her testimony. Officer Andrew McLaughlin had motive. Other Vice Squad officers had motive. Schlitten's testimony was manufactured to protect the real killers. Theory 3. Gordon was killed by John Radloff, or one of the criminals she blackmailed. Her diaries listed hundreds of men who owed her money or feared exposure. Seabury believed Theory 2. He investigated police involvement until 1935. He never found sufficient evidence to bring charges. Officer Andrew McLaughlin was never charged with any crime. He retired from the NYPD in 1935 with full pension. He died in 1948. Cause of death, heart failure. Magistrate H. Stanley Renault was removed from the bench in 1931. He never worked in the legal profession again. He died in 1944. John Radloff was convicted of extortion in 1931, unrelated to the Gordon murder. Sentenced to 5 years. Released 1936. He died in 1952. Harry Stein disappeared from public record after the 1931 trial. Presumed dead by 1940, Chile Mapocha Acuna, the stool pigeon who exposed the frame-up system, died in 1932. Cause of death, brain tumor. Age 39. Benita Bischoff, Vivian Gordon's daughter, was buried beside her mother in Joliet, Illinois. Gordon's burial was paid for by an anonymous donor. The Seabury investigations concluded in 1933. Final report, 3,000 pages. Over 2,000 witnesses interviewed. 23 magistrates removed. Hundreds of police officers dismissed or disciplined. Dozens of attorneys disbarred. Complete restructuring of New York City government. Historians describe the Seabury investigations as the largest corruption scandal in New York City history. Until the Knapp Commission police corruption hearings in 1972, the investigations demonstrated that justice systems can become criminal enterprises when oversight fails. They demonstrated that political machines prioritize power over accountability. They demonstrated that frame-ups and extortion can operate systematically when courts and police collaborate. Vivian Gordon became a symbol, not of virtue, not of redemption. A symbol of what happens when systems of power prey on those with something to lose. She was framed in 1923. She lost her daughter. She became a criminal herself. She attempted to expose the system. She was murdered. Her death opened the machine. Her death forced light into courtrooms where hundreds of women had been convicted on fabricated evidence. Her death made the corruption undeniable. By the time the investigations concluded, New York was different. Not clean, not reformed completely, but different. The systems that framed Vivian Gordon in 1923 were dismantled. The officers who arrested innocent women were removed. The judges who sentenced first offenders to 2 years were gone. The blackmail machine of Harlem stopped operating in 1932.